All righty. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to this Thursday, November 21st, Field Notes and Legal Shield webinar that we do. This is the group focus Thursday. And so I remember sending out an email about a couple of things. Does anybody remember? Because I totally forgot if we discussed that, I discussed it with the Monday group and then had to discuss it with you guys. But either way, it's probably a good quick little refresher of some small things. So one is when linking contacts, there is two new options. And so we can go to any contact really to figure this out. And it's under this contact links here on the left-hand side. And by you just clicking view, it'll bring the contacts that you have linked. So in my case, I've got Rowan, I've got Aaron. These guys are HR content or contacts. Now, if I wanted to edit, obviously you can basically drop down this little menu by hitting the little pencil. But these were the two new service associate. No, I think it was maybe corporate support and third-party administrator. So if you guys had other categories that that would help you guys, it's a matter of just sending me over what that is, and can't guarantee that it's going to immediately show up, but I'll get it in line, and when the developers can make that change, they definitely will help me with that. And so that was something that has changed that I just wanted to show you guys. Now,
Can I ask a question real quick before you move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
So in order to do this, I would first have to go in and add the contacts, say the person that I want to link to another person. I'd have to go in first, create all of their information. And once they're in, I would then go over to contact links and I put their name in again and move them over, or how do I get them connected? Because you're basically got two separate individuals and now you want to put them together under one particular person's contact information, correct?
Essentially, so to explain that question, right? Let's just assume you've got group accounts and you've got normal people, right? Or members, a little bit of everything, prospects, right? It's all in one big all contacts bucket. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to link another person that I have as a contact to a group account, all I have to do is open up the group account and then select link contacts, right? Or contact links. And then it's hit this plus button. And then it allows you to search by any of the, right? So I copied Rowan's name and you can put in his first name and now you can search. And then so here he'll pop up.
Okay.
And then you can check him because you have to check him. So once you give him a check, you can now give him one of these relationships. Right. And when you hit link, he will then appear in this little drop down menu. And then if you go to this account, you will see him linked. If you go to Rowan's account, you will see him linked. And so you'll see that, like what we did with this precision mechanical, so here, when you go to his account and you press contact links, you'll see that he's linked to that group account, right? Now, this may not be right the correct, that this is the group account. This is, let's say, owner or whatever that may be. Authorized associate, I guess HR contact would be the one because they're most likely the ones. But right. You would just kind of know based on this here that this is a group account. So I would assume you would be able to just know the relationship just by looking at it.
Okay, I guess I just need to play around with it a little bit more because I do have some people I would like to link to my different group accounts that are HR or brokers and such.
Yeah, no, that you can do it. You can do it like this. I mean, if you wanted to do it with spheres, you could, right? If you wanted to if it's a specific broker that, is part of multiple groups and things like that, and you wanted to use a sphere, you could use a sphere to link them together. So it really doesn't matter, but this is just a feature that allows you to have that. And so when you click on this, it'll just show down here the relationship. And then if you go to vice versa, the main group, you'll see that everybody that you've linked is there as well. Maximum is 10.
Okay.
So you can, for one group, you can put 10 people on, right? Just that's the limitations that I saw that this stated. And so that is something new. And then I'm trying to think, oh, it had to do with action plans. And there was, let me see if I can. So there was a situation in which the action plan in question had this little, let me see if it had this little condition checked, right? Allow multiple triggers. So if this is not checked, this does not go multiple times on a contact, right? But because this is a birthday and it has this condition, what I found out was this condition overrides this little check. So if allow multiple triggers and contacts, so if this was checked, then this wouldn't have an issue. They wouldn't conflict each other. But the fact that it's not checked, this overrides, meaning that this same action plan can go year after year, right? Which would mean multiple times on the same contact. But that was just something that we had kind of I kind of discovered, didn't think that that was the case. And if I would have had this checked, regardless of having this, I would have assumed maybe something would have happened. But if it didn't go multiple times, well, then I would understand it was because I had this checked, right? So, well, not checked. And so that is not the issue. So even if this is checked or not checked, and you have this condition where it's repeating every year or repeating on a specific day of the week, right? In this advanced options, it gives you quite a bit of reoccurring instances. So you can do it once a year, you can do it every month, you can do it on a day of a month, or if you wanted to pick a specific day of the week. So like if you're kind of like what you do something consistently every Monday, every Tuesday, you would probably use these. And so that was just something that I discovered. And then for the technical ones that use lead magnets, right? There's also this new feature, which I didn't discover until recently, which was if anybody has made themselves and used these contact forms, they'll remember what the pain in the butt it was, because once you've set up a contact form and went ahead and basically created it and did all of that kind of stuff, there wasn't this place to where you could go back to the form and edit the form. So now you can, and you can name these specifically. So it doesn't have to be just test or test two. You could have this. So I know Rick uses this as a lead magnet for sharing a PDF that I think comes from Shield at Work or from Legal Shield.
Rick Allen.
And he uses that so that if people wanted to get that PDF so that they could get informed about, what's the importance of getting your will done and stuff like that, then they can go to a landing page, put in their information, submit it. This will then redirect them to the PDF so that they can download it and then have it, right? So it's a way of capturing people's details, right, for something that you're offering them, such as the PDF about make a will, right?
Will prep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, will prep and that kind of stuff. And so you can do that with any of the types of PDFs that they give out that are like informative. You can always use those as the bait on the hook. You can create, you can create this whole page. So if you have a website, this will definitely give you a place to put all of this information. But the good thing about this form is the people go into your CRM, you can note it as to what they've requested so that when you follow up with them, you can either have that discussion or you can have an action plan, begin to just start tripping on them before you go into them. You can really kind of design it, the way that you would want to approach. Yeah.
Where does this go if, somebody has landed on this, they're filling out their information in order to get the PDF? Where in the CRM?
So they're going to come in as like a normal account, right? It's going to say contact form I think it's going to say web form or something along that lines. It will give it a distinctive kind of where that contact came from, but you would see it in so if somebody just signed up and I had one of those forms, it would be right at the top. The person would be there.
Okay, so it
And
just
then,
comes into your all contacts
correct.
and goes up to the top of the list.
Right. If anybody hasn't paid attention to that, you'll see that any new, right, is based on the added on, you'll see that it just floats to the top. So if I added a new contact, it would be right on the top, and then this would get pushed down. And so your first contacts, right, that were ever uploaded are these ones down at the bottom, right? That's just kind of how the system works. And then it just kind of scrolls down. So as you add stuff, the newer stuff will be at the top, the older stuff will be at the bottom, unless you sort your columns differently
Right.
and do stuff like that.
And does it tell you when the new contact comes in,
That's what I clicked on here.
how they arrived? I mean, so they obviously came in through the landing page information. Does it tell you that versus, oh, I've just entered a new contact from a networking group I've gone to?
So the trick with that, I would say one is have your settings or your notification settings so that you do get notification, whether if it is through the bell notification on the website, like through our web page, or via email or through the mobile. But by you just doing that, and here are the different. So all notifications activities include lead creation. Let me see. Important for events, the lead response message, and then I guess the shows the lead getting handoff. So I guess this one would be the best for the lead creation. Although, if you get a bunch of stuff, right? Let's say it's just sending you too much activity, then I can understand that. You can set up a couple of things. So referral source, you can create your own referral source. So let's say that this is a landing page for the will, right? Or a lead magnet for the will. You could give it a name, set it up as a referral source, embed in that this form, the person is, when the person submits their information, it applies this referral source.
Okay,
So then
thank you.
you're going to know that it comes from this specific avenue, right? And then you can also, if you wanted to, if you had, I know it says buyer and seller, but this is the status category. So if you had, let's say, you wanted to drop him in as a new prospect, right? You could give him, like, when he submits his information, it will give him this category as a new prospect. It'll give him online as a referral source, and you can even assign a group. So if you've created a group tag, right, you could assign that. So you could assign these three things upon sign up, upon him submitting your information and him requesting and getting the PDF. Now you've got three things that you can trigger off, or create views so that you can view him as a new prospect. You can view everybody that has signed up via this online method, right? Lead magnet. If you had some special tag that you wanted to designate to it, you could do that as well. And so this, you would take the code, right? And so you could copy it to your clipboard. So now it's copied. And then you would put it into your landing page, right?
Yeah.
And then that form would look like something like this. So if this is too much for you, right, and you don't have anybody that helps you with with doing this, you can definitely
Okay,
contact
thank you.
me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go take you down the rabbit hole.
No, it's going to have a little bit of rabbit holeness because unfortunately, yeah, you've got to know where to put this code, right? And there can be some complexities with it. But for me, I have literally just played around with it, and I don't have any code experience nor building websites or anything like that. But I was able to get to Rome, so I'm pretty sure I'd be able to do the same with you guys. I even used Google Sites, right? So that's a free service, Google Sites, and then you can actually create a website within that Google Sites, and then in there I created a landing page where it had that form to capture. So, but the cool thing about this is that now you can have multiple forms, and you can always go back. So if something changed, or if you needed to change the URL, before you had to view the code and then figure out where within this you make that change, and then make it like literally by typing in. And so that obviously I didn't see even Rick had a challenge, and
Right.
Rick knows his stuff. He was
Yeah.
even still kind of like, well, I wish there was a way of where we could just, go back and re-edit this. And since we didn't have this built, it made that impossible. So
Well, thank you for everybody for being patient with my questions. I appreciate
I don't
it.
know.
No,
This
it was
is
good and appreciate that. Anytime, we can get some additional insight, there's no dumb question or irrelevant one. I think that was good. I mean, do we understand it all? No, but we got another glimpse of what's possible and available. Okay. But I
Right. And
wanted
we
to
know
say,
who to go to. We know who to go
yeah,
to if we have that question. We talk to Rick.
well, I mean, if I have free time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if you've
Yeah.
got everything in front of you where I just can just make it happen, then I have no problem, rolling up the sleeves and testing it out with you. It shouldn't take too long to kind of get, but go ahead,
you
Christian.
said that Google Sites, what is that?
Google Sites is the following. So you can go to Google, right? So everybody who has a Google has access to this stuff. And then I think it is located in Drive. And then in Drive, you can do, so this is Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms, and then Google Sites. And I think maybe I have the site from before. And so this is essentially, like what you would get from GoDaddy. However, Google Sites is going to give you this googlesites.com, blah, 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 whatever I end up typing here. So, I wouldn't say people wouldn't trust it, right? Because it's a legitimate site people can go to. And if you have, and you can use different kind of styling, you know, have, you just have to build it out and just kind of sit down with it and kind of, pull some ideas. One thing I was doing was I was going to ChatGPT asking all of my dumb HTML questions. I was like, Chat, help me with, this and that. And I mean, it was giving me the answers that all I had to do was copy paste into these, like into these areas. And then I would just publish it or at least view it to see what it looks like and it would work. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a hacker. You know what I mean? Like, and I literally have no experience. I'm just asking Chat. I'm just having my conversation with Chat. Like, I want to build a website with Google Sites. Okay. And then he gives me whatever response. And then, but I'm having problem embedding this code. And then I would give him the code. And then he would tell me, oh, well, you've got to find this place and this is where you need to put it. And then I was like, okay. So then I tried to look for it, found it, put the code in, you know what I mean? And then it was just all like, I was like, oh my God, and it was all just with Chat, me and me with the computer just having a conversation. And anytime I had a question, I would just ask it. And one time I even said, I gave it a huge prompt of the type of website that I wanted with descriptions and everything. And I said, just create the HTML code for me. And it literally spit the whole code out where all I had to do was copy paste. And then I dumped it into Google Sites and magically it all just, and it like had, all I had to do was just now go in and put the coloring, put photos. And I was just like, holy crap. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like no longer do you need to like really kind of pay somebody that has expertise in web development for you to really kind of get what you want. You know what I mean? So I don't have any type of fear. I know for you guys, it's
We
maybe
don't
like
even know
something.
what you're talking about. So
Yeah, but I mean, like
we
that's
can't be
how.
afraid, okay?
No,
I
but
know my
that's how
son
I
would
was
know.
too. That's how I was too. I was just like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but and then Chat would answer, and then I was just like, oh, okay, well, this is that he's talking about, and then I was just like, holy crap, like, you know what I mean? And then so for me, I was definitely taken away. So I, I don't have and I don't mean fear in any bad way. I just don't have any type of fear in just breaking something, especially with this. I'd open up one of these. You can get pretty much thinking unlimited pages from Google Sites. And so it just gave me something to play around with. And I was just really amazed at the type of product that I could most likely pull out with little to no experience. And so, but like I said, if you guys have questions, if it, I don't have any problem, having this discussion with anybody if they wanted to create one. Or if you want to speak to Rick and let Rick do it for you. I'm pretty sure Rick will definitely do that with a Coke and a smile. So, but Christian, your question.
Oh yeah, I if I could share my screen, I created I downloaded my contacts and I don't have any referral. And so let me set it up here. It's a big screen, so hopefully it shows okay. I'm with the wrong one.
Okay.
Oh, no. And so this is what I went to, that contact form builder. So I went to all contacts and I had my 135 out there that I originally imported. But I wanted to have a referral source like gun show, networking, business, other.
Where would you create that is your question?
Yes. And so I went back I did that contact form builder, but it didn't get me where I wanted.
No problem. So in order to create
And if this is elementary, I just want to add, if this is elementary and you want to take this offline for everybody, I'm fine with that. So
Oh,
No,
I'm good.
people will learn. I trust
I've
you.
dunked a little bit in the last conversation, so let's get back
Yeah.
to basics.
So here, right, is where you can do that. You can also do that here, and you can click on any of these accounts. It'll essentially open up the same place. So you can go to any of those places that I pointed out.
Right. So I'm not adding a new contact though.
That's correct, but it's going to take us to where we can edit those fields within
So
that.
you'd suggest this one over that one, because that looks like you're adding new contact.
It is the same add the contact button. So now that we essentially got to the menu that we needed, if we scroll down just a little bit, we'll see where it says referral source.
No, did I miss it? Keep
There.
going.
Nope. Stop. Go back up a little bit. And right above additional information.
Okay.
So with all of these fields, you'll see that there is these manage items. The ones that are multi-select, the spheres, the groups, right? They all have a manage items, and you can click that. And then it'll take you to where you have the list that is created, and all of these ones can be edited because it has the little pencil, or you can trash can them. These ones, unfortunately, it is what it is. Can't touch those. Those are kind of hard-coded. And then you can create the items that you wish here. And you can
So if I
label
want
them.
gun show. So if I
Gun
just want a
show.
new one for gun show.
Yep. And then you hit save. You'll see that it adds itself to
Next,
the list.
what makes it visible on my pull down in my contact, or do I have to go in each individual contact and specify? I can't just go down the row and go bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, we can do the bing, bing, bing. So you can hit done, and now it should be within your list. So if you now click referral source here, right? This little
In here,
drop down menu, we should now have gun show in the
Okay,
list.
perfect.
So if you're creating somebody and you're like, oh, I need to put in a new referral source for this new event or this new place that I met somebody, you could do that on the fly, and then you can assign it to somebody, and then you could hit save, and then that account will be created. But let's say you wanted to do this. So let's say of these 135 people, let's say that there's 35 people there that you want to associate them to the referral source gun show.
And I don't know what all those are right now, but
No, but we can at least show you how you would do that. And so it's relatively
now, do I
simple.
Save this now because I did make that gun change? It's showing, but
Right,
do I
but
still need to save it before?
No, because we already saved it into the list. We don't, and we're not creating an account, so you can basically hit close, and that's in the menu now. Perfect. So just go ahead and select anything other than one. So do randomly.
Okay, so Santa.
Right, but we need to close the contact and just select put a check next to the contact.
Okay, so now
this is like a mass edit, right? Is what we, so close up here at the top.
Okay.
And then
Go back to your contact.
Yeah, then contacts.
And then
all contacts.
Contacts. You can see how much work I've been doing on this. I'm a bunch of zeros.
Oh, it's all good. And
right,
so here, yeah, you put little checks to the random group that you need, right?
Right.
And then
say I want to do one. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do one.
Right. And then you see all of these options get little blue little dots. So what this is telling you is you can do a mass edit. You can actually delete massively. You can use any of those three options there. This is downloading. This is uploading, which that one's not checked because that one, and then that's the action plan. And then this one is bulk email, bulk text message. So those are the options. You would use the pencil one because we're going to do a mass edit. Now here you could scroll down and look for, which is just a little bit of scroll. I'll keep on going. And there you go.
Okay.
Right in others, referral source, you'll see.
Okay.
And if you click off to this, it'll unhighlight all of these.
Okay.
But now you can select a gun show. Now, the trick with mass edit, let me see something because
And even though it's only one, I still use mass edit.
that's what I was looking at because it should give you some condition, which source. Oh, that's with add select. I thought that was. Oh no, because it's only one. So
Yeah, so it's only one. So if I put
So-
what if I put two? What if I put two? Put myself in that.
yeah. So if you end up doing this and then hit start, it will then assign to those two people the gun show referral source. You don't have to do it, right? But and then it says
It's
that
only two, it should go quick, right?
right. Then it says that it can take some time just as a
Oh, that was quick. Okay, perfect.
but it will, but on those two, yeah. And then there you go. Now you have your referral source column showing. So now you can see that those have been applied. And so, yeah, so that's how you would mass edit to all of them. I would open this up to 200 and then you'll have all
Right.
135 in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of go through them.
And I can remove it too as easily as I added it, right? So
That's
I'm the
correct.
main one. So I go back in and say,
You can
this.
click your, if you wanted to do a mass edit, yeah, then you could do it that way. Or you could just open up the contact, find it, and then do that as well.
So I'm going to do it that way this time, just so we have variety.
And then, so can you click off to maybe somewhere? There we go. And then hit edit contact. And if you hit others, it'll take you straight to where you have, there's the gun show. And then you can back to selected, hit save, and you have now effectively added in, removed. And so, and that right there is a huge part of staying organized with your data. Yeah. And that is a huge part of automation because those are the things which are considered also triggers. Right. So by you dispositioning and putting people into those, let's say, the people from those group, you want to follow up with them once every 30 days, right? Right. You could have an action plan that because of that referral source, you could set up something that's every 30 days, every 30 of the month, you're always going back to them, setting up maybe either an appointment, to call these people. So they're never, falling through the cracks. You're always staying on top of them. That could be something that you wish, or you could set up an action plan that just basically sends out a consistent email to them, just trying to get them to come back to you. Yeah. And so, yeah, is as small as you may think, or as dumb as you just think that we just went over. Yeah. It's a huge part of. It's a huge part.
You did it really simple, and that's what I needed. Just just real KISS method. Keep it simple.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is it's so simple, right? What we looked at, but to really kind of utilize the CRM, right. When I say disposition people, that is dispositioning people, putting them into referral sources. So if they're in referral sources, you can track. And I feel tracking is going to definitely help you know where your members are, know where your prospects are, know where, you know what I mean? You'll have a place to where you can put all of that, and it's not in a book that you just kind of make your notes with and kind of have to flip through. I used to use that a lot before computers, well, not really before computers, but before I really kind of said, I'm going to go paperless. And the second I went paperless, oh my God, it was the best thing. But what did I have to do is I had to lean on a CRM because that's where my notes existed. Right. So
easy to do and easy not to do.
But I mean, I was all, I at some point I had to learn this and I just made those adaptations. And then was it hard? Did I feel like a fish out of water because I just wanted to grab my pen and go back to my little pad of paper? But I knew that if it was there on that pad of paper, so when working in outfits that are like call centers and things like that, my desk, unless I'm top ranked or something like that or a high position, I might not be at my desk every day at the same time, right? So it was like, I didn't want to lug this group of papers around every time I had to move my desk. I was just like, I'll just keep it in the system. Keep your files within the CRM, within your login, and you'll find yourself being relieved of that stress of, oh, where's my I forgot to bring it. There's all my notes about this person. So
I've been a real committed to Outlook, but what I realized is the way I used it at work and in that division was different than my version of Outlook. And so I'm not liking it. So that's why I'm moving it all over here, and I have other things. I used to have it in Act. I think all my contacts are right now in still in Outlook PST, but I don't want all of them in here. I want to sort of select it. So yeah, this will be helpful. And then the other follow-up question was, once I get what category they're in or whatever, I wanted to consider starting doing what I used to do was a constant contact newsletter, but I don't want to pay for that because I have that functionality here of ID Shield and let people know about. That seems to be real paramount in front of people. There's so many articles and so many hacks. It's easy to do, I think, a newsletter on that. And so my thought is, once you start them, you have to keep it up. So I'm thinking a monthly, but I've got to get set up to be able to do that. So, but first step is to get my referral source set up.
Indeed. But when it comes to creating a template so that you can, right, you're going to basically go to this little area, your message templates.
Okay.
And this is where you're going to most likely sit and play around with and create some styling. If I were to...
Can you make that bigger, please, Jeremy?
Sure.
Thanks.
Oops.
I mean, it's just taking up a little bit of the screen.
Yeah.
What I would do, right, is create kind of like a template, like this.
Right.
This has a graphic. So if you wanted to change the graphic out, you could, right? You can just basically screenshot any other graphic you wish to choose and then just quickly, switch it. But what's good about
like a Snagit, a Snagit snippet. Yeah.
You can snag it. But here you just do save as a new template. And so new newsletter. And then now you have, and then I guess you can pick the folder where you might want it to go. So if you had a new newsletter folder, you could do that. And then you could save. And then so essentially it's going to take what you already have created. And now you have the new one. And so if I needed to delete this so that I can use a new one, I would. If I needed, these are all screenshots. So I could switch these out with the PDFs. You could still use this, but you could edit the link to the new PDF.
And do you have the unsubscribe link? Can we add that in?
So the unsubscribe, the way that works is that the emails go out with the link at the bottom. So that's something that's automated. It's managed by the third party. So it's not something that you need to think about. Recently, Cassie had mentioned she had somebody who went through the whole process to and accidentally apparently unsubscribed. But then when he was speaking to her, he had expressed, no, I do want. And she was like, well, you're marked as do not email. So do I have your permission? Right. And so she didn't know what it was that she needed to do, but simply you just go to the contact and you uncheck them. So if the person was checked because of hitting the unsubscribed.
Right. I've done that before. Yeah. Martin, do not call.
And it lets you do it manually.
Right. So
do an override of somebody that's already selected.
Yeah. So if the person, you would come to here and you would go, oh, okay, well, this is why you're not getting emails because you unsubscribed. Oh, but I didn't know that I did that. So all you would have to do is uncheck him.
Toggle. It's like a toggle switch. Okay.
Yep. And then now you can send another test email or start another action plan. Essentially, now that shouldn't be the problem. And we tested that to a contact that Cassie did yesterday, and we just unchecked him, sent him out a test email, and he got it and replied, said everything is good. So that is what you can do in regard to that. But when it comes to creating your newsletter, so now all you have to do is you just have to find consistent content that you can then recycle, right? And turn it into your own, and then get it here and just kind of make it look good. I like to use these little tables just to kind of force the format, give it some nice sizing. And this will also, when it goes on a device, it'll basically make sure that it looks nice. Because if you don't use these and you just put the pictures, they could be off to the left. They could be anywhere on that email. Your signature could be way off to the right at the top. Real weird stuff I've seen that happens. But with using the table, really kind of just puts things into structure. So
not just text box. You use a table.
Yes, I use a table, even if it is some small little mini paragraph. I still do that. Why? Because it will make it show up, look just exactly as you wish, and
Stay in place on the table.
stay in place. So God forbid you put an extra couple spaces and then it looks good on your device, but on her device it could look all jumbled up. That usually will save your butt with that. And if you wanted to, like I said, maybe create these templates or create a template so that you could just plug and play. If it was me, what I like to do with these types of PDFs is count, right? So you could count all of these little different lines and copy just the text and put them in that way. But that for me not only turns a quick creation of a form into an hour, because you have to copy. Sometimes you might have to get into here and change some of the way that the wording looks so that it looks good. So that's why I do the full, whatchamacallit, the full
Table
screenshot.
Yeah.
Right. And then I put it into different tables. And so it looked like the email had one section, two section, and I kind of kept all of that all in one just so that it looked organized. But yeah, done with screenshots, real simple, not too much. And then once you have this saved as a template, you can save it once again, go from the old one. This is what I do with emails from like different holidays or any other emails that are newsletter-ish. I just kind of copy the template, have the subject name ready to go, put in the new subject, save it, put it in the folder where I usually organize those things. And then now it looks exactly like this. And then I can begin to style it. And I maintain my other one as is. It never gets touched. So you'll always have a copy of that one. You could edit that one, but then again, if you liked something about that one, or if you wanted to resend it out to somebody, or if you later on wanted to create all of those things that you've created and make it into like an action plan, you could do that as well, right? And then you would have this huge, let's say, bank of content that you could then turn into something and then just drip it on to some people, which who knows, it could strike their interest and get them to communicate with you. But what you just said, not paying another company like Constant Contact or MailChimp, you have, and people don't have to subscribe to them, right?
Oh, good.
You can put them in the system, send them something, and if they don't want it, they can just literally unsubscribe, or you might get a message, hey, take me off your list. And, you just do the right thing, click the do not email, make notes to it so that the person doesn't. And maybe you just call that person. Maybe you just follow up verbally with them and maybe he doesn't get upset with you that way. Right.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, it's interesting you say that, because I know there's obviously cost in MailChimp and Constant Contact.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of the way I look at it, almost as a selling point for other Legal Shield members. If they're using something like that and paying for it, moving it all over to Fieldnotes, they're getting,
they're getting way more.
A great CRM, but they're also getting a replacement for Constant Contact. So the pricing might be very, very close and you get more bang for your buck.
Well, yes. That is 100%. And there's like so many different ways that you could, right? So like if within your own categories, right? So you could have a separate category that was newsletter, right? But this is like if they're prospecting. So if you didn't have them, or you could take the people that are in the prospect, right? You use this prospect bucket, they're going to get your newsletter, right? And you can use that. Anybody that has that category gets your newsletter, right? Or if you wanted to create a sphere for it and just say newsletter, right? And then you associate that sphere to all the people that you feel that should get your newsletter, then you can do that and you can create a view out of it. That's what I do with real estate. So I've got you guys, but I'd labeled you guys as Legal Shield. And so anytime I need to kind of look up Legal Shield, I can just group you guys by Legal Shield. But I use a sphere for the real estate podcast that we do. And so I have a view of that. And anytime I need to send out that weekly review of the new podcast dropping, I just click my view. It gathers everybody. I highlight everybody like I showed Christian to do the mass edit, but I actually use the action plan and then just send everybody that action plan. Well, I think either bulk email or action plan. I think I use bulk email.
Could
But,
you basically click, say, prospect and newsletter, and that would be your
trigger.
trigger? Is anybody that has both of those checked?
So you would have to have that in your filter, right? You would
Okay.
have to have the to prospect. You would have to have that checked. You would have to have
Right.
the sphere newsletter, right? So if you had to have any newsletter, but let's say it's the Christmas email.
Okay.
And then so by you having these checked, this will filter just those people with those characteristics. And then you turn that into a view. And then now you can always go back to those people with just a click. And anybody that you give those to, prospect and that newsletter action or that newsletter sphere, it will also put them in that list. So it'll ever be growing as you start to add contacts. That's why it's important to disposition people, because when you do that, it also puts them into your views that you want to see these people so that you know that I met 10 people today. 10 of them were from the gun show. 10 of them were from this. But if you have all those different views set up, those people are going to go into those buckets. And then
And then you would then you would just make a report and keep the report.
right, the view. We call it the view. It's like a
The view.
report as well.
Okay.
But
All
yeah.
right.
And then once that's done, every time you go to that, to that report or the view, it's going to populate the people. And now you can then select either the ones that are on the page or select them all, right? That'll confirm with this little number how many are selected, and then you can do it. So yeah.
So one other quick question. In the past, I didn't have the capability with, and it was 10 years ago that I used Constant Contact. So I'm a little rusty, but I didn't know whether they opened the newsletter or not. And I thought with this, there might be some kind of a tracking that they at least opened it. Maybe they didn't listen to videos if there was something in it.
So you'll see here the emails that go out, essentially, right? You'll see them in the list. And this is not an email. This is when it was updated. But essentially next to the email is going to be an arrow going that way in green or that way. And that tells you that it's been sent. So when you hover over it, it says sent. And then when it's been delivered, it'll show that it's been delivered with one check. And then when they open it, it'll show as a double check.
Okay.
So that's how that will work. And then that will tell you, but you can also see that from the report by having these columns selected. Now it's the email read and sent. It is the email last read on. So that'll give you the date, and you can do the same for the text messaging as well. So when you move over, you can actually see, you can see that analytics at a bird's eye view, and then you can, have an idea. And then, so this person recently read it. I'm just going to click her. Let me give her a call. And
Jeremy,
then you have a conversation.
Your screen is about this big. Can you?
I'm not.
Is anybody else having trouble?
Now, if you see it as this big, it could be that you have Zoom minimized. So if you
you have his face big.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must
if you touch on the screen and double click on the right where that upper arrow picture in a picture little box on the top right, that puts it bigger.
Okay, thank you.
I did the same thing, so don't feel bad at all. And I just messed around until I figured it. So, I'll start working on this. And if you guys want to see my progress when I get a test.
Yeah, would love to, but I'd also love to get into a session and don't think it's, you're not bothering me any. It definitely will help you organize, put things into perspective. What are the first things that I need to deal with? And I can usually just see that at a glance. And so, but I definitely thank everybody for the time that you've spent. I have to run. I apologize. Not every day do I have back-to-back meetings, but today's going to be one of those days. So I do like what we discussed. To me, it's not a bother in any way to kind of go over the beginning stuff and kind of help you guys kind of just get stronger in it. And so I guess that's the goal. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have things that you'd like to see, please email them to me, message the the chat by any means necessary. I'll make a list of stuff, and that'll give me just more fuel for content, and hopefully, answer some of your questions at the same time. Well, everybody's questions, because
Jeremy, I have a quick question. So we're having our session on Monday, is that correct? Thanksgiving
Monday,
is until Thursday, so I know we're
right?
not
So
doing
Monday,
that
yeah.
yet.
So Monday, I'm gonna be open for business. Yes, the 24th.
Okay, and then what about Tuesday and Wednesday? Are you open on those days? What days are you open for personal coaching?
Oh, yeah. So Thursday, so from the 28th to the 1st, right? So essentially, it's just going to be a long weekend for us. So Thursday, it doesn't look like we're going to be
No, Thursday
working.
is Thanksgiving, so we know we're not doing that.
Right. So the 28th I have off, the 29th off, the 30th, the 1st. So up until Wednesday, you're welcome to. And now that you've said that, I probably need to go take off Thursday and Friday so that people don't.
Okay, but we'll have it this Monday and the following Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we can get coaching from you
Up until
Tuesday.
the 27th. Yeah. Up
Okay,
until
okay,
Wednesday.
great. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Nope. Thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
Ciao,
right,
ciao,
thanks.
guys.